Okay, so let's talk about self-tanners. Who loves the idea of self-tanner but is a little bit intimidated that you might turn out orange like an Oompa Loompa, or that you might have splotchy areas or something like that, right? So let's debunk all of that. Come with me through my tanning mousse process and let me show you how quick and simple it is and how risk-free it is.
Hey friend, I'm Amelia Kivett, and I'm here to show you some quick and simple beauty solutions. I'm just a busy mama of 4 kids, so quick and simple is super important for me. If it's your first time here, welcome. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And if you've been here before, welcome back.
Okay, so the first step in our process is to exfoliate. Now, I like to use this exfoliating mitt that Red Aspen sells. This is my favorite, and I will have the link for it down in the description, of course. But it is just a mitt that you can throw on. It's mildly abrasive. It's not too terribly rough. I wouldn't recommend that you use it on your face just because the skin on your face is so much more sensitive. You need to get some kind of exfoliating cleanser or something of that nature to do your face. But the rest of your body, you can either do it in the shower or you can even do it dry. It works just the same. But really focus on dry areas like your elbows, your knees, and really make sure you exfoliate first. You're gonna wanna do this step. Do not skip this step. And then if you do shave, go ahead and shave your legs before you get started, because that'll also help make sure you have a nice clean surface to work with, and also will help exfoliate your legs. So any areas that you do shave, go ahead and do that first if you're going to use a tanning mousse. So I also do my armpits when I'm getting ready to do my tanner. But anyway, I'm going to go exfoliate and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we've exfoliated, I'm going to start with my legs and show you how I do my legs. And if you hear some really lovely lullaby-like music in the background, that is my child's bouncy seat. She's sitting nearby watching. So don't be put to sleep though. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off any jewelry and whatnots. Get all that off really quickly. And again, I'm just doing my legs for now, but just in case I get anything on my hands, I'm gonna kind of take it off. So I've already exfoliated with my exfoliating mitt and I've already shaved my legs. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm gonna take the body cream. Oh, and I love the smell of our body cream. It's got a light, I think it's hibiscus. Yeah, infused with light floral notes of hibiscus. This stuff is incredible. Okay, real thick and creamy. It's perfect for this use. But what I'm gonna do is I'm only going to apply this on dry areas like my knees, my ankles, back of my ankles, and I'm actually gonna cover the tops of my feet. And this helps kind of create a little bit of a barrier and moisturize dry areas so that you don't get like a buildup or like too much product on those areas that are prone to be splotchy, okay? I'm also gonna cover the tops of my feet, especially my toes here. My feet are a little bit more tan than my legs anyway, just because, you know, from wearing flip-flops and pants. So I'm not gonna have a whole lot of focus. Make sure I get the inside of my ankle here. I'm not gonna have a whole lot of focus on the tops of my feet, and you'll see how I do them. Okay. And don't worry, I will have all of these products linked in the description of this video, okay? All right, so I've moisturized my knees really well to make sure I don't get too much excess product there. The product's gonna soak in really well to dry areas. So like your knees, in fact, I'm gonna put just a hair more right there on that little dry patch of your knee, you know the spot, okay? So if I was doing my whole body right this moment, I would also do my elbows, right? I'm gonna go ahead and do them just because I love the smell of this lotion anyway. So I would do my elbows. That's about it really, my wrists and hands all over. Okay, oh, y'all, I love the smell of this lotion. It is my favorite. Okay, feeling good about that. So now I am going to show you the product. This is the tanning mousse. You'll have to excuse how messy my bottle is. It's clear that I use this a lot. Okay, there's your tanning mousse. It comes out in a nice thick foam, not like thick, but it comes out in a nice foamy mousse that makes it super easy to apply. Okay, so here's your tanning mousse. I'm gonna shake it really well, make sure that product is mixed well. And then I'm gonna first show you the tanning mitt. Okay, this is waterproof on the inside and has like a velour feeling on the outside, real soft and smooth. And over the time of using it, you will see that it starts to take on product and get more and more wet. So like right now it's dry because I haven't put any product on it at all. So in the very beginning, when you first start, you may notice that you need to use more product. And then once the mitt is wet and is kind of carrying some of that product, you might not use so many pumps. So without further delay, I'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you how I do my legs. Okay, I'm gonna do just a few pumps. Okay, so I generally start in the lower portion of my calf, on the outside of my calf. I'm just gonna do one swipe of that product. And again, you saw me do like 3 or 4 pumps. That's because my mitt is dry and it doesn't have any product in it yet. Okay, can you see where I swipe that? I'm gonna go over that same spot one more time with a little bit more product. Can you see that? This color here is called the color indicator. That is not gonna be the color of your tan. That is simply a color indicator to let you know where you've put product. Okay, can you see there where I've put product now? Okay, so I'm avoiding my ankles and I'm avoiding my knees at this point. I'm just doing this big, solid, open portion of my leg right now, okay? Rub that in, make sure it's real nice and smooth, okay? I'm gonna do another pump or 2, because again, my mitt's still kind of dry. Okay, and then I'm gonna come to the front of my leg and do the same thing. You see that stripe right there? That's your color indicator. It just shows you where you've applied product already. And again, I am avoiding my knees on purpose and my ankles on purpose at this point. Just coming on around here. One more pump to bring this together and get that back portion. Okay. Oh no, baby girl. Okay. Okay. And again, do not worry about the color at this point because that is just an indicator of where you've put product right now. Okay, so from here, now that I've got that all kind of, smoothed out, I'm gonna take my glove that's still wet, that still has product on it, and I'm simply gonna swipe it over my knee, okay? I'm gonna come over this side, come over this side. I'm gonna do the back the same, just come up with my already wet glove. I'm not applying any more product. I'm kind of just pulling product from my lower leg and what's already on my glove and pulling that up and over my knee, okay? That really helps to make sure that I don't get too much product on my knee where I wanna make sure it's not gonna be splotchy, okay? That's all I'm gonna do for my knee area. At this point, I'm just kind of making sure that it's nice and even. Okay, good. Okay, so now you can see this line here where I've stopped. I'm gonna pull my shorts up a little bit. Obviously, usually when I do this, I do not have pants on, so I don't have to worry so much about my shorts, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the same process for my upper leg. I'm gonna do 3 pumps, and that'll probably take me a pretty long way now because my glove is wet. Okay, and just gonna rub that in a little bit, make sure it's nice and smooth everywhere. I'm gonna do like a little tiny pump because I feel like I didn't really get much on the back here. There we go. Okay, now I feel like I've done good with my, so I'm gonna sit back down and I'm gonna show you my feet. So, I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with my knees to my feet. So I'm not gonna apply any extra product. In fact, I've gotten off as much product as I possibly can. From here, I am going to swipe over my ankle Swipe over the other side of my ankle, down the back, and then swipe the top of my foot over my toes. Okay. Swipe the top. I don't want a lot of product on the top of my feet because, again, baby girl, are you talking to me? My goodness. Okay. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm gonna do for my feet. Now I'm gonna take this glove off, and I am going to take my kabuki brush. It's a very dense bristled brush, okay, flat brush. And I'm going to buff out my knees. Okay, any of the areas that I wanna make sure I don't get like splotchy or anything like that. So any areas you're nervous about, just buff, buff, buff. And this will help to smooth out that product. It may not look like you're doing much, but there is product there that's still soaking in. You can see I've got dark spots on my knees anyway, probably from hitting them on things or being on my knees, bathing the kids at night, all the things. So I wanna make sure I don't get any darker there than I need to. Okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing for my foot. I'm gonna do my ankles really well, the back of my ankle especially, and then the sides and tops of my foot. I'm gonna get this side of my ankle real good. Make sure that I don't get splotchy areas. Okay, and then I'm also gonna do the tops of my toes and kind of get like in between my toes, because you wanna make sure that you don't have like a distinct line where your tan stops, obviously. You want it to look as natural as possible. Like you've just been sitting in the sun and your tops of your feet just caught a little bit of tan, right? So again, you saw that I didn't put a whole lot of product on my feet, just a tiny bit. So I'm really just smoothing out the little bit of product that I did put there with this kabuki brush. Okay? Okay, so now look at the difference. You can definitely tell I've got product on this leg and not on this leg. Again, this is not an indication of the color that the tan will come out. This is just the color indicator that I will rinse off after a few hours. You can wait anywhere from like 4 to 8 hours depending on how dark you want your tan to deepen to. So I'm gonna cut from here and I'm gonna go ahead and do the other leg. All right. So here are my results. Here's my after. It's only been a few hours, but I went ahead and rinsed it off. You can see my knees look great. They don't look overly dark in any areas, any darker than they were anyway, where I had like, I think that's a bruise. But yeah, feet look great. Hopefully you can see my feet well. They look great. Legs look great. Nothing splotchy, nothing orange, not overly dark. If I want to, I can go ahead and put more on now if I want it to be darker, or I can wait about a week for this to wear off if I want to keep this color here. Okay, so now that we've done our legs, I'm going to show you how I do my arms and chest and shoulders, back, and my face, okay? So first, I'm going to take my jewelry off, okay? So if you had a necklace on, or of course I'm gonna take off my headband, all that comes off. Okay, and then of course if you've already exfoliated, you either did it in the shower beforehand, or you can do it dry if you're not wanting to take a shower before you do your tanning mousse. Either one, but make sure you focus on areas like your elbows, just like we focused on our knees when we did our legs. You want to focus on dry, rough areas like elbows, maybe wrists. Of course, exfoliate all over, but you just want to make sure you pay special attention to those drier areas. And then for me, for some reason, during the summer when I start getting tan, I get splotchy right here. I'm not sure why, but I always have. So I make sure I exfoliate really well here, because any dry patches of skin are going to show up splotchy and you don't want that. So Exfoliate, exfoliate, exfoliate. Of course, I've already done that in the shower beforehand. I just wanted to show you real quick. And then just like when we did our legs, we're gonna do our body cream. Okay. Just a little bit. You don't want to do it all over. You just want to do it on dry areas like elbows. And I'm also going to do my hands. Okay. Make sure my hands are good and moisturized. Typically my hands are a little more tan anyway, just because I've been out in the sun, and you know, even when I'm wearing long sleeves, obviously my hands are still out. So I'm gonna try to do as little product as possible on my hands. So here we are. So that's why I'm covering my hands completely. I want to make sure they're good and moisturized, and my wrists, okay, and my elbows, okay. So that's all I'm gonna do. And then when I get to my face, I'll show you that too, but I've already done my facial moisturizer for the day. Okay, and then we're gonna get started with our tanning mitt, just like before, and our tanning mousse. And I always shake it up beforehand. If you couldn't tell, this is a different day than when I did my legs. So if you're watching all the way through, then you've already seen me do this for my legs. Okay. So the mitt is dry now because it's been a couple days since I did my legs. Usually I would do it all at once, but for the purpose of making the video, I had to kind of split it up. So the mitt is dry, whereas normally when I get to my arms, the mitt would be wet because I had already done my legs, okay? So I'm gonna do a few pumps, not a whole lot because my arms aren't near as big as my legs, obviously. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start up here on my upper arm because my upper arm is not quite as tan as my forearms. My forearm right here is the tannest part of my body right now, just because that's what sees the most sun. So like my upper arms aren't quite as tan from where I've like worn t-shirts and stuff like that. So I'm actually gonna start on the inside portion of my arm and my upper arm and apply that product. And again, you can see the line where you've applied product. That is just the color indicator. That is not what your tan will end up looking like. Okay. I'm gonna do one more pump I'm gonna do the inside of my arm and just kind of swipe over the middle there. Make sure I've got product everywhere. Okay. Make sure I've got under here. And then I'm just gonna swipe over my underarm. Now, again, normally I wouldn't have clothes on. I would have done this like fresh out the shower, so I wouldn't be worried about my shirt. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna swipe my armpit real quick. Now, what I'm gonna do is take my wet mitt, it's wet from where I've just applied product, and I'm gonna swipe over the top of my arm and my elbow, okay? Just swipe down my elbow and the top of my arm. I'm gonna add just a little bit more product because this mitt is pretty dry because I didn't do this all at once. But the point is I want the least amount of product on my forearm right here because that is the tannest part of my body already, okay? All right, so there's one arm. And then for my hand, I'm just gonna kind of swipe over the top of my hand. See what I'm doing? I'm not adding any product. I'm just kind of swiping the product I've already got there over top of my hand and my fingers. Make sure you get the sides in between. Okay, all good. And before I move on, while that's still wet, whoops, I'm gonna grab my kabuki brush and I'm gonna go ahead and blend before I move any further. Blend, blend, blend that wrist. I'm gonna blend my fingers really well because I don't want those looking wonky or awkward. I'm gonna blend right here. I don't necessarily want product on my palms. That would look kind of funny. So I'm kind of just blending right here so that doesn't look weird. I also, again, didn't put very much product on my hands because my hands are a little more tan than everywhere else. But you don't want like a stark line right here either. So you kind of have to be careful and blend that. Okay. Blend, blend, blend with my kabuki brush. Get those knuckles really well. And then I'm gonna blend my elbow real good with this brush and make sure that's nice and smooth. Do the inside of the elbow. Okay, so now really quick, I'm actually putting the mitt on with the thumb on the wrong side just because I don't want to wet this dry part. I'd rather use what I've already used on this side. So I'm just gonna do that, make it easy. Really quick, I'm gonna do this arm. And it's not taking near as much product now because my mitt is wet. So that's good. So easy, so easy. Take this off and do my kabuki brush really quickly. Okay, now I can put my mitt back on and I'm going to carry on with the rest of my body. I'm gonna work on my chest and then I'll show you my back with the back applicator in just a moment. So really quick, I'm kind of maneuvering around my straps, which again, I don't ordinarily have to do, but it is what it is. Okay, switch hands. And I'm gonna go ahead and come up my neck, do the back of my neck, so that when I do my face, I'm getting behind my ears, just because my hair is short, so you can see that. As far down the back of my neck as I can. Okay, easy peasy. Just make sure everything is kind of blended together. Like this. Make sure I've got back here as much as I can. Okay, I'm gonna come back in just a second and show you how I do my back. Okay, I'm gonna show you my back as best as I can. This is the back applicator. Nice and long, if you can imagine. You'll do this number with it. So I am going to put product right here in the middle. And it is dry because I haven't used it yet, so I used quite a bit of product. And I'm just gonna take this by the handles like this and flip it over my back. And I can feel where that product is. And I'm just gonna do this number here. Can you see it moving around? And then I'm gonna come up here, make sure that I kind of blend to where I stopped on my shoulders. Okay. Something you want to be mindful of in the small of your back, where you have this dip, you wanna make sure you take your glove, or if you can get it with this, and get in that crease right here. Otherwise, the back applicator will go right over it and you'll have a white crease right here. I'm not gonna do that right now, but just so you're aware, okay? It's not such a problem on the top portion because it's pretty flat up there, but okay, I'm gonna do just a little bit more product. Make sure I really got that bottom portion good. You see that? There we go. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to come around the edges a little bit like this. Make sure I'm really blending. And I probably have it all over my shirt, but it's okay. It'll wash out, plus it's a black shirt, so it's whatever. So again, I'm just kind of blending with my shoulders, and that'll make for a really seamless application on your back. Okay? Easy peasy. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my face. What I have here is the mini mitt. Okay, it's the same thing as the regular tanning mitt, just a little itty bitty baby one. And then I have my kabuki brush. Okay, I am going to go ahead and use tanning mousse on my face. Some people prefer to use the tanning drops on their face. If you do the tanning drops, then you need to add it to your own moisturizer. If you use the mousse, then obviously you don't need your own moisturizer. Now, when I get out of the shower and I'm going to do the tanning mousse, then I go ahead and use my facial moisturizer like usual, okay, just by itself. And then that soaks in and does what it needs to do while I'm doing the rest of my body, okay? But as for right now, I did not just shower. I'm not in a place where I would normally do my facial moisturizer, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and use my mousse. I will say that I did exfoliate my face in the shower. I always exfoliate my whole body, including my face, when I do the tanning mousse, just because any dead skin or dry patches are going to absorb product and they're going to show up splotchy. So you want to make sure that you did exfoliate your face, okay? So let me move my mirror over here. I am going to clip my hair out of my way. Get this out of my way. And I'm going to take my glasses off. So excuse me if I'm looking down. That's just where my mirror happens to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little mini mitt, and you can use this for other areas too. Like I've heard of women using it for their belly button. I didn't do my belly this time just because that's impossible to do on camera comfortably. So if you wanted to use it for your belly button or any other places like that where it might be a small area, but I use this for my face. You can also use the regular mitt or your hands. I don't like to use my hands because I don't want to wash my hands for a while after I've put the mousse on, because I don't want to wash it off. So I try my best not to get it on the inside of my hands, my palms, and my fingers. Okay, so I'm just going to do, again, this is a dry mitt because I have not used it yet. So I'm going to do like one pump and see how far that gets me. You can kind of go by how it feels, how far you are with it. And I'm just applying it like normal. I don't take my nose ring out because it's so small, it doesn't really... I am going to get as close to my eye up here as I can without getting it in my eye. Obviously, you don't want this product in your eye. But just kind of so far. And I'm going to just lightly do my eyelids because I don't want my eyelids to be super white. And then I do kind of push the product as close to my hairline as I can. And then when I start to blend it out later, I'll try to make sure I blend real good. Not necessarily wanting it on my lips, but as close as my lips as I can. I'm gonna do one more pump. I feel like that wasn't quite enough. And that's the beauty of this, is you can put as much or as little as you want. If you're feeling real brave and you want to get real dark, do more product. I am also going to do my ears. Just because, remember when I did my neck, I did go back behind my ears, so I'm not terribly worried about that. But I do want to kind of get my ears a little bit, and then I'm going to just blend this down. Because I already did my neck, but I don't want a weird line here, just like you wouldn't with your foundation. Make sure I get this ear. Make sure I get in all those little spots. Okay, beside my nose on the inside here. I'm gonna swipe it over my eyelid again. Just kind of blending out that product that I've put on there to get it as even as possible. Some women are intimidated by putting the mousse on their face, and that's why they like to do the drops, because you can control a little better. You know, you can do just a couple drops or you can do a lot of drops. But I really don't mind the mousse on my face. I've never had a problem with it as long as you follow these instructions and you've exfoliated well and you blend well. I've never had a problem with it on my face. The only time I ever had problem on my face, it was actually with the tanning drops before the mousse came out. But I was getting splotchy areas right here, and it was because I was not exfoliating. That's when I realized the importance of exfoliating. I was getting splotchy places where I just had dry skin built up on my face, and it's really not a good thing anyway. So let me make the mistakes for you, right? Okay, now that I've got that product applied, I'm gonna take my kabuki brush and I'm just gonna blend. Make sure I get in my ears, right? Just blending. Make sure that I don't have any wonky areas that, you know, this kabuki brush is incredible. If you don't have one, I highly suggest grabbing this one. Plus, it's so stinking cute, right? Okay, and here's where I'm gonna take my kabuki brush and kind of push this product a little bit. I have it's actually grown back quite a bit, but I used to have like really thinning spots up here from postpartum hair loss. So if I have those spots, which my hair is falling out now because the baby's just about 3 months old and that's when it happens. But it's really not that bad right now. It's grown back and gotten pretty thick. But I'm just real mindful to push the product up into my hairline just a little bit because I don't want, you know, this white line where you can see where the product ends, as if I'm wearing like foundation that's too dark for me. You know what I mean? So just blend it with the kabuki brush, or if you've got a similar brush, or you can use this too and just work on it, you know, blending it, making sure it's nice and even everywhere. But I really do prefer to use this kabuki brush. And this one right here, I only use for the tanning stuff. I have another one that I use for my makeup, and I make sure to not ever switch them. This one right here lives in my tanning basket, so I don't ever mix them up. And I do wash it every so often, just like you would any of your other makeup brushes. Okay. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Make sure I blend this eyelid. And again, trying not to get product in my eye, of course. At this point, this just feels good, you know? So I think I'm happy with that. Now I am going to meet you over at the sink and show you. I've got hair falling out. See, I told you, there's the postpartum hair loss. Annoying. So I'm gonna meet you over at the sink and show you how I rinse out my tanning mitts. Okay, so now that I've finished, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse out my mitts that I used. It says to rinse with warm water. Now I am gonna try my best to only rinse the palms of my hands. I can see that I've gotten a little bit of product here, which is not a huge deal, but I want to try not to rinse the backs of my hands where I blended it real nice. But it's not a huge deal if you do. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. So you just rinse them with warm water. Can you see all that product coming off of there? Just rinse with warm water. That's all there is to it. Okay, and this one I guess I did have product on that side. It brought them off. Okay, and these are, of course, reusable. You just keep rinsing. The instructions say just to rinse with warm water, but every once in a while I might put soap on them. Squeeze that out. Get all that product that came out of there. Okay. Easy peasy, rinses out just like that. It's been a while since I've rinsed this one out. Okay, and then the mitt, same thing. You're just gonna rinse out all that product. I tend to only use one side of the mitt, so there's not usually any product on this side. I'll rinse it just in case. Maybe I used it one time. But yeah, I have had this same tanning mitt for, honestly, probably about a year. And I just keep rinsing it. If I ever feel like it gets like too grungy, I will add a little bit of dish soap and really work that in a little bit. But honestly, just rinsing it, especially if you do it right after you use it. All right, guys. So that's it. That's how you use the tanning mousse. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd really love to know what you think of that. What do you think? Would you use it? Would you try the tanning mousse? Have you ever tried a self-tanner before? I remember in high school I used to use, I think it was like Jergens brand, but it was just a sunless tanner lotion. And I remember the smell it had. You really don't have that smell with this tanning mousse, that distinct self-tanner smell. But let me know in the comments if you've ever used self-tanner before, if you've wanted to but have been scared. Do you feel like you could try it now that you've seen this video and how simple and easy it is? Let me know your thoughts. And then, of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment so I can interact with you. And then there's a link for a tanning tutorial in the description of this video and in my bio on my channel. The tutorial goes along with this video that you just saw. So it's a one-page tutorial. It has all of the links in it for all the products that I used. So you're going to want to go and grab that tutorial so that you can have at your fingertips just a one-page tutorial to remind you, so you don't have to come watch this video when you're ready to try it. You'll have that one-page tutorial ready. Okay? So just going to rinse real quick the insides of my hands and leave it at that.
All right, so now that I am done applying my tanning mousse, I am gonna wait for a few hours. The instructions say 4 to 8 hours, but it really just depends on when my kids let me take a shower or when my husband gets home so that I can go rinse off. But yeah, just depending on how dark you want your color. So after a few hours, just rinse it off and you are good to go. It'll last about 7 to 10 days, depending on how often you shower, how much you shave, and how much you exfoliate. Obviously, the more you shower, shave, and exfoliate, the quicker it will fade. So then you can just go ahead and apply more tanning mousse when you're ready, or you can use the tanning drops in your own moisturizer to hold you over a little longer until you're ready to do the mousse again. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.